Spring, it's level 3. This is episode C of Rakaia 1899, and I am not standing next to the main line at Rakaia. Mid-Canterbury used to have braided rivers on each boundary and a couple in between. And across those rivers and across the Mid-Canterbury Plains stretched a line of railway. Whilst not exactly the dead straight of the Nullarbor Plains, you could then and you can now count the curves between Ealing and Rakaia on one hand. A person could be forgiven for thinking that a line that's just about dead straight is also just about level. But the Mid-Canterbury Plains are a subtle series of rises and falls across contours worked out from when the plains first emerged from the ocean through to today, or 1899 as the case may be. That line across Mid-Canterbury opened on the last day of May 1875. From south to north, its stations were Ealing, Hinds, Windermere, Winslow, Tynwald, Ashburton, Fairfield, Drumore, Chertsey and finally Rakaia. From 1880, the stations at Tynwald and Rakaia also served as branch line junctions. 3 stations on the line play a role in that long ago Saturday evening. Ashburton as the point of departure, Chertsey on the wire as the expression was back then, and Rakaia as the location of the fatal cross. Today, of those 3 stations, Ashburton is the most evocative of what it was in 1899, in that it still has a platform and still has some semblance of a railway yard. But it's worth noting because it does play a role in what happened on that Saturday night, that in 1899 the line at the platform was not the main line, it was a siding, or to use the correct terminology, a loop. So back then Ashburton had a rather atypical station layout. Chertsey though was entirely typical and would have resembled any number of other country railway stations. And in 1899 it would have generated a healthy amount of primary production traffic. Today it's a loop with plenty of traffic passing through, unlike this line here, which is basically abandoned. But none of that traffic passing through Chertsey originates or terminates from that station. Rakaia is a main line only these days. From 1899 it had a very unusual station layout, much more unusual than that at Ashburton. Originally the yard, not dissimilar to that at Chertsey, was located north of what is now the Elizabeth Avenue level crossing. Its station building was centred on Rolleston Street. Sometime after its opening, probably around about the time the Methven branch was opened, the station building and platform was relocated to a position roughly between the 2 pubs at Rakaia. So back in 1899, Rakaia's goods infrastructure was located at that Rolleston Street location. Its mainline passenger infrastructure was on the eastern side of the island platform and building. The Methven branch had its infrastructure, both passenger and goods, located on the western side of that platform and building. The Methven branch line left the Rakaia yard slightly to the north of the South Town Belt level crossing. It then paralleled the main line about 20 or so yards away from it until it headed inland at Thompson Track Road, or as it was back then, the Mount Alford Road. So we've covered the line, we've covered the stations, let's cover the ups and downs because they play a role as well. The station at Ealing was 374 feet above sea level. From there the line descended through Hinds and across a relatively flat section until reaching Tynwald, where it started an ascent to the summit of this section of line located between Drumore and Chertsey. That quote-unquote summit was about 385 feet above sea level. From there the line descended for about 7 miles through Chertsey to Rakaia with a drop of around about 30 feet. That doesn't sound much, and when compared with more challenging sections of line, it is of course peanuts. But trains love momentum, and that gradual ascent from Ashburton and the gradual descent into Rakaia, the occasional dip notwithstanding, contributed significantly to the momentum of that second picnic train. Dips are areas where an ascending trend is interrupted by a short period of descent, or where a descending trend is interrupted by a short ascent. There's one more feature of the line that plays a role, and that's a fairly innocuous looking level crossing on the Overdale-Hatfield Road. Today, as was the case in 1899, it's the only level crossing between Chertsey and Rakaia. So today's pieces of the puzzle are the platform loop at Ashburton, the ascent up through Drumore to Chertsey, Chertsey's connection to the telegraph network, the descent down from Chertsey to Rakaia, the level crossing on that Overdale to Hatfield Road, and the dip between that level crossing and Rakaia. Those pieces of the puzzle, when combined with the power and speed of that locomotive and the human frailty of its driver, created the kinetic energy inherent in that second picnic train as it approached the lamps and lights of Rakaia and as it sped on its downhill run into the colony's worst railway disaster. Alright, like, subscribe, enjoy, don't enjoy, suit yourself. See ya.